Okay guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to create images from a viewport. I've set up a 2D node here and called it viewport image, and to this node we will add a child node viewport. There we go, the viewport's added. Now the viewport needs a size. This will be the size of our image. Let's make it 128 by 128 pixels. Just clicked that by mistake there. And its own world, click that, and then we want a transparent background. And if we look at the rendering options, we're making a 2D sprite, so we don't want 3D. We want our rendering to be in 2D. So as a child of the viewport, let's put something in it so we can see something like this icon, for example. Let's drag it in, and we can't actually see anything because we need a viewport container if we want to do that. So let's add a child node of a viewport container, and we will, if we set the viewport to a child of this viewport container, we should see what's inside the viewport. And there it is. We see our sprite. And if we move it around, so what we want to do now is capture the contents of this viewport, and we'll need a script for that. So let's add a script. Let's make it empty and create our script, and we'll add a ready function. And in the ready function, for capturing graphics, we would need to wait for at least one frame to have gone by. So what we need to do is add a yield delay. Can't spell yield. There you go, yield. And then we will access the visual server. This is like the engine that handles the graphics. So visual server, and it has a signal frame post draw, which is the top one there. So let's have a variable for our image, again var img, and then we want to get the texture data from the viewport. So let's get the node, a reference to the node of our viewport, and then get its texture, and then get the data from that texture, and that will give us the image displayed in the viewport. And the next step is incredibly simple. We're just going to save it as a PNG image. So we call the method on the image, and we got save ping, and I'm going to call it my vp underscore image .png. Now let's run this scene and see if it works. And we see our VP image. Let's double click it, and you can see it's captured it, but the image is actually upside down. That's just a feature. It's easy to fix the problem of the image being upside down by running image.flip, and we can go X or Y. We'll flip Y and try it again. Let's run the scene, close the window and check again, and it's up the right way now. So you can see that we can save whatever is appearing in the viewport, so we can actually use code to draw to the viewports, such as lines and circles and polygons, and assemble them into the image we want, and then save it as a PNG from the texture of the viewport. And we can also create a 3D viewport. If we duplicate this viewport, give it another name such as viewport 3D, all we need to do is change it to a 3D one. So we go down to the usage and change from 2D to 3D, we're gonna delete this icon and set up a 3D scene instead. So a minimalist one would be adding a child node of a mesh instance and give that a shape or a mesh, say a sphere. We don't have to set a material, but we can do if we like. Quickly set a material, new spatial material. We could have a shader as well. Edit this, give it some albedo color, something like that. And then we need to add at least a camera. So add a child node of a camera, create, and then move the camera away from it a little bit. Add a light, directional light, for example. That should illuminate the mesh, and we should see it in the camera. And let's position our viewport. You can see it's working there. We can see our image, and then we can go ahead and render it out to a PNG in a similar fashion to what we did here. So if we cut and paste the code, we just need to reference our other viewport. So we called it VP3D, and that should work if we run it. Let's run the scene again. I think I've just replaced the old image with it. One snag appears to be we haven't got a transparent background on our image, even though we've selected it in there. And I tried to fix that earlier, but I can't come up with a solution apart from maybe using a shader on the texture and then outputting that texture to say a sprite, and then saving the sprite's texture as an image. Like with a shader, you can pick on a color, in this case the black background, and change it to alpha transparency of 0. So that would be my approach, unless there's something I've missed and there's another way to do it. But anyway, so like I said, you can create your own scene there, and you could do it in code in some way with shaders to make, say, a textured sphere. And for the 2D viewports, you could just draw lines, circles, and polygons, or even set pixels, I guess. To do that, though, you have to do it in the draw calls. There's a function that you override, a virtual function called draw. So that allows you to access the canvas of the viewport. So I'll leave it at that, and I'll see you in the next video. And if you liked it, please hit that like button, and if you're not subscribed, subscribe. See you again soon. Bye for now.